The greenhouse is going well.
I just can't tell you how pleased I am to say that. I'm incredibly pleased with the result.
Let's do this, come on! It is a blue sky kind of day, and for actually months I have been desperate to get my hands back onto the Geodesic Dome project. So the last time me and you chatted, I was unsure what to do with the dome because we just had so many ideas. We have come to the conclusion that it is better for now, for this particular dome, to be a greenhouse / chill out area. Basically a place for me to just potter and be. So it is going to be in this location, which is right next to the orchard, which will work really well. So basically we've secured all of the hubs with bolts and washers and wing nuts. Oh yes, I know the lingo. Which completely firms up the structure so that we can gently lift and move and rotate this now. So we're going to rotate it to the exact point that we want it to be in. Then we are going to mark on the floor where we would like the posts to be. We're going to fill those with concrete. We're going to put some posts in the ground that have been shawoody-woodied. And then we are going to raise this dome up off the floor 60 centimetres. So we've got metre long posts, it's 40 centimetres underground. I'm excited. Let's get on, let's do this, come on.
If we can leave this hub on the floor,
Yeah.
and pivot on that one.
Pivot.
Pivot. Ready.
Up. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. It's not flat.
No, it won't be flat.
Oh my dear Lord, I don't like the cracking
Put it
noises.
down.
So now we've got the posts in the ground, luckily with some help from Phil's dad who came to visit. Last week we have managed to lift the geodesic dome and place it on top of the posts. I'm not gonna lie, they don't line up properly. I don't know where we went wrong. So we're gonna do a bit of a bodge. Aren't we, Phil?
Right, do you know what? There's enough of all that sort of language around here. We worked really hard to get these posts bang on, but we did base it off of the centre pin there with a rope in a circle. And to be honest with you, we're pretty much on the money for most of them. There's one or two that have gone out, and yeah, it's not ideal. But we will fix, we'll find a way. We'll fix it. It's not a problem.
At the end of the day, it's really not a big deal because as long as the dome hubs are attached to the posts,
yeah,
that's actually all that matters. And these posts are going to be covered anyway.
We are actually really excited about this because it is a really cool greenhouse and it is going to be flipping amazing. And yes, it is a shed load of work and it would have been way easier to build a standard greenhouse or a polytunnel or something like that. But we didn't. We've done this and we love it. It's just a lot of work. A lot more work than we really had sort of hoped for. However, we're not doing things by halves. We could have just sat the dome on the ground and done basic things, like didn't have to go on post, all the rest of it. I feel like I'm taking over.
You are taking over.
Okay, I don't want to take over. I'll stand over here.
Because this is actually what I have been doing.
Take it away, Katie. I'll stand in the dome.
Doing stuff. I've decided to settle for using polytunnel plastic. I say settle because originally I really wanted it to be completely transparent, but the options available to us at the end of the day they were just too expensive. And I am also fully aware that the more transparent it is, the more everything in here. I mean, it's literally going to be a sauna in the summer, isn't it?
It's almost going to be like a greenhouse.
This is the polytunnel plastic that we are going to be covering with. At the moment, we have clamped some bits of trim over the top of the frame. So the idea is that this polytunnel plastic will be sandwiched between the framework and then this trim. It is our hope that this will help keep it waterproof. The issue that we've been having, no, not issue, we've been deliberating over, is how long the trim should be, how wide the trim should be, should it overlap the battens so that it covers some of the hub, should it be the same length?
In all of that, you've got to allow to think about the rain that's coming down each panel. Obviously that's going to hit these and then going to run to this point. We don't want to trap that rain, we want that to run off over the surface. So there's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be clever, and I said to Kaylee, what we should do is make all these trims meet in the centre and we'll cut mitres on them so they all mesh up. And we put these trims up with clamps, then we went, this is stupid, let's just cut them to length. This is ridiculous, the amount of work we're putting into this is crazy.
Yeah.
I think that we've decided we're going to do these trims the same length as the battens, and then we'll look at potentially covering the hub if we feel that's something we need to do later on. Of course, we can just add that on afterwards. It can be a total afterthought. Or if we're happy with the trims and the hubs and everything, the interface where these meet, then we can leave it.
Yep. So next step is we're going to cut the trims to the correct length. Then we are going to put them through the planer to make them thinner because we don't want them as thick as the battens that we've used for the frame so far. Then we will wiggy band them. And then will come the task of then covering the dome, which in itself is going to be a bit of a palaver because...
A palaver.
A palaver? A pavlova?
Do you reckon?
It's going to be a bit of a pavlova. I'm sure on TikTok they just like stand in front of it and then they just go...
I've seen a bloke build a bathroom, a whole bathroom, like that. It was just done. And
maybe we're not clicking properly.
this stuff doesn't work over here.
No. Maybe we're doing it in like the wrong pitch or something. Left hand?
Nah,
No.
I'm out. Back to the tools.
We're just not made for TikTok.
Never been a fan of short corn content? Well, it is safe to say that the construction of the geodesic dome is not exactly going to plan. We have got some irregularities, whether that be with the dome itself, with the timber, making it not quite the dimensions it should be, or whether we've messed up the posts. We are only a little bit off, but a little bit seems to be a lot when it comes into this circle. There's a lot here that's got to be bang on to get it right. Attempt 5,754 for putting the dome up and it not collapsing on us. With some old bits of 4x2 we've had lying around. Most of this is from the old solar frame. I've literally just thrown this together with any old bits and pieces we can find. And basically what we're going to do is try and build some form of flat decking surface to build the dome on.
Enough?
Yeah, I reckon so. For the initial pentagon shape. Well, I am very pleased to say that the dome is finally up and properly in its position. So, a few things we did differently this time. We made this decking, which worked so well. It was perfect, really. The only thing we didn't really account for is the fact that before the dome gets lifted, it's much, much bigger than the footprint. Because as you lift it, obviously the footprint comes in. So the decking actually needs to be probably over a metre bigger than the actual circumference of the posts, ideally. But that's what we did here, was what we extended these boards. We just slid them out. Another beauty of not screwing them down is we were able to just slide boards out where we needed them to support the ends. And it worked an absolute treat. And actually, with a beam underneath here on a car jack, this was plenty strong enough to walk around on, which has been literally invaluable. So it worked a treat. The other thing we have done, which you might have noticed or you might not have, is we have removed these horizontal bits that go between the bottoms that make these triangles. And the reason for that was, once we got it on top of the post or near the top of the post, I said to Katie, like, those beams aren't actually serving any purpose. We're going to be putting boards around the bottom, so it's not like the plastic needs to go onto that. The plastic can go down onto those boards, but also it gives us a little bit more flexibility in the frame. So where they weren't 100% lining up with the top of the posts, we were able to just tweak them slightly, just enough to get them to go smack bang in the centre of the post. And it's worked a treat. So I'm really, really happy with that. The end result is fantastic. Yeah, we took them out and it made the whole structure much, much more malleable to get it onto the posts. And then once they were screwed down and tightened up, this whole thing is exactly as firm as it was when they were in. Like, it really is firm. It's amazingly strong, really. So thank goodness for that. We are there. We have got a little bit more adjusting to do, a few bits to tidy up, and then we are ready for window and door, and then the covering. Thank you all for your lovely comments on the last video about this, our solar array. Now it's time to turn our attention to wiring. Now currently we have a 20mm water pipe here, which is acting as the conduit for the solar cables, which is part of the old system. Now that won't work for us for the new system for two reasons. One, this conduit is too short, and two, it's also too small now. And the reason it's too small is because I'm planning to put a mains power cable, so a household 240 volt cable from the inverter, the workshop distribution, up to here, the solar frame. The reason for that basically is it makes sense at the moment to give me options for the future. Having power up here is not a bad thing. Kaylee is having her garden and her greenhouse up behind the solar panels here. And so the option of power out here is always going to be a useful thing to have. So even if it's just a socket on the post, it's something. But we're also doing something else, which is putting in another conduit. I've bought a bigger water pipe here, which will accommodate the new solar cable and the mains power. And then the old conduit here, the smaller one, will be becoming a water pipe. And we're gonna run in the same trench, the water and the electric. That will make life really easy for Kaylee with regards to the garden, watering stuff, cleaning the panels. Again, just to have water up here is a great thing to have. And right while I'm doing this trench, it makes sense to put it in now. Pretty obvious. What do we do? What do we do, everybody? It's digger time. Yeah. Alex having a go on the digger, and we've also switched the bucket from the ripper tooth that I've had on to the narrow trenching bucket. I have to say he's starting to master this pretty well now. He's getting to grips with it. Now we've forked the trench off because the water's coming to the end of this post and the electric is obviously going to the centre post where that centre distribution box is. Hopefully you can just about see that. So next thing to do is to work our lengths out. We need to measure or get this in the ground and mark out how long this is going to be so that I can cut it to length and then we can get the cables run in there. I want to be able to run the mower and the strimmer and stuff over here and not worry about where those cables are, especially as they're running now quite high voltage. What I'm planning to do is cut out a section of that concrete to shallow that angle out, and then hopefully it'll come along the concrete, drop down and into the ground and away. So as long as it can go below ground level within the span of the concrete, that's fine for me, and then it can go from there. What I'm going to do then is run that down into our trench, give ourselves plenty of, or a little bit of slack at least, so that I can trim it off if I need to. And I'm thinking that basically will run like that. So I think actually about where we are, I'll be bang on there. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clamp this to the post because it means I can tug on it and move it around that end without messing up our measurements. To get our cables into our conduit, we're going to do the vacuum cleaner trick where we've tied a little bit of plastic bag to the end of the line. We're going to put the vacuum cleaner onto the pipe, and then from the other end we feed in the bag and it sucks the string through. Once the string is right the way through, we tie the cables onto it and then drag it back through with the cables on. And if this connects up well, it works a treat, this. Oh, do you know what? It's going to fit inside. Oh, love it when stuff like that happens. Yep, that's working. It's the world's noisiest vacuum cleaner. And hopefully, yeah. How much over did we go? A lot. Oh my goodness. A lot. Okay, well here I am running a 3-core 2.5mm flex and 2 PV rated cables at 6mm. If you can see that, that just ties everything up really, really well. Loads and loads of friction there, nothing's going to slip from that lot. We can pull that as hard as we like. Because this conduit's nice and straight, we've got it on the ground, not really going to be an issue. They should pull through there really, really easy. What is going on here? Oh, he's doing it again. Ay, ay, ay. Ha ha. Oh, what a failure. Okay, perfect. That's it, spot on. after doing that cut, there's two things I want to say. One, get yourself a quality diamond blade because nothing comes close. And also, please invest in one of these. This is a 3M fancy respirator, and I have done the whole get the disposable mast, and then I go, oh, let's go like not too cheap, we'll go from middle of the range, blah blah blah. And then once we started this project, I thought, you know what, it's the time we invest in one of these. And man, I wish I'd have bought this honestly a decade ago. Would have been so, like, it is such a difference wearing this. It's hot to wear, especially in the summer, but it's unbelievable how non-restrictive it is. And you can get all the filters replaced. Like, it is a bit of an investment, but I promise you it is worth it. Yeah, buy yourself one of these. So the plan is that that conduit will go nice and neatly down into there, and then it'll curve round up and into. Nice. Now a matter of just getting it where we want it, which I think about there is pretty good. I've got that rubber grommet to get on. 3-core flex I'm going to try and put up round the back here, and then that's going to come down out through this gland here. Something like that. Take me ages, but we're pretty much there. I've got all the solar panels neatly wired up. They're coming in, all of the power out, down the conduit's done. I've put a new lead on the earth spike and relocated that. Can you see? Yeah, you can just about see. Over here, literally I'm ready to put this cover back on now and plug the panels back in. And then the last thing to do is with just this 3-core flex, I'm going to run this up this post, and then we're going to put a power socket out here, probably a bit higher up where it's a bit more convenient. Yeah, so we just got to wire that up and then we are done. The project today is to build a picnic bench. Now, that might not be of the highest priority, you might think. However, we literally have nowhere to sit outside, and I'm sort of roughly following a plan I found online. We have bought these big boards here. These are, well, they were sold to us as 200 mil wide by 40 mil thick. There is one out of the 7 boards that we bought that is 200 wide, and the narrowest of them all is 175. So that's good. I'm cutting the boards to 2 meters long now. They will be, that's the tabletop, and Kaylee is currently sanding the narrower ones, which are going to be the bench seats. Marked up where my brace needs to go. We are pretty much there. We have, obviously the legs are in place. This is the supports for the seats. Obviously it's upside down at the minute. And then we just need, we've got a center brace here for the tabletop, and then we just need these diagonal braces. So there's a 24-degree angle on here, and they just wedge in like that. Everything is in and screwed up. I'm going to go through and bolt everything. So I'm just going to put these through, tighten them up nice and tight, and hopefully it should be plenty good enough, even my children to jump all over it, which is the main thing.
as you will have seen, this week's video was a bit of a roller coaster with ups and downs of the dome, finalising. We're almost there with the solar frame now, aren't we? You just got to put in your...
Yeah, solar frame is totally wired up. It just needs the bracing supports now, which I'm still trying to engineer in my head as to how I want to do it. Late last night, almost by torchlight actually, I got this finished. And there's a little bit more sanding to do, but actually, we're pretty much there.
Absolutely stunning, isn't it?
I am very, very happy with it.
It is amazing how something like this just changes everything for us.
You lot see like a park picnic bench or something.
Yeah.
We see like dinners outside, sitting around the table together, having 5 minutes to just stop and think and look. Also, if me and Katie talk through every step of what we do on the property, we talk through and list and everything, and just the ability, like if we put the kids down one evening, we can come out here and just to have a table and chairs.
As you will have gathered from our previous videos, when we're going, right, this is the plan, and then it changes.
The priority shuffle and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Hence another reason why we've prioritised doing things like building a picnic bench over the barn still at this moment in time, because stuff's just still up in the air.
Yeah.
And
we don't expect you guys to understand why.
It must be very hard. It must be. I can
From the
fully
outside
see.
looking in.
I could fully see me watching this channel going, "What are they doing?
You're in a caravan.
You live
that
in a
can't
caravan.
be comfortable.
And now you're building a picnic bench. What are
Get
you
your
wasting
priorities right.
Yeah. What are you wasting your time for? Like, I can really see it, and from the outside looking in, I can see how it must look sometimes. But I can assure you that everything we do tends to have a good reason behind it.
Yeah.
And we do take our time to stop and think, and we're not afraid of changing direction or putting even the biggest plans on hold. Like even just like the little barn at the moment, we just went, let's just stop and think.
There's going to be a lot of conversations and a lot of planning and a lot of decisions that are going to be made around this table.
My childhood upbringing, it was always, no matter what, it was dinner around the table and we sit as a family, no TV dinners, you sit as a family and you discuss things and you talk through the day and everything. And it is probably one of the biggest takeaways from my childhood is how important that is.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that we still sit around as a family and talk and not get carried away with TVs and screens and tablets and stuff.
Definitely.
You know?
I suppose what we've actually done naturally is we have split our land into a sandwich so that the chaos is in the middle and we're going to have a little bit of chill out on either side.
Yeah, so we've got the woodland, the veg garden and a sort of outdoor seating,
yeah, and the
eating
orchard area here.
Yep. And
then we've got
there,
the chaos of the house and the barn in the middle. And then we've obviously got the children's play area, we've got the decking with the caravan and
the swimming pool.
The swimming pool, yeah.
So it'd be a nice area over that side as well. And I think that really is what we need.
For those who have followed us from the beginning, you will know that we have been through a lot over the years, and we've had a lot of moments that have really made us realise how valuable time is and how tomorrow really is never a guarantee. So that is one of the huge driving forces for us being here, of getting that better quality of day-to-day life.
But the kids are only young once. And I mean, Alex turns 8 next month.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think of. And it's not going to be long till he's going to be not wanting to spend any time with us and not wanting to be at home and want to be out with his mates and stuff, which is totally understandable. And so actually it is important that we stop and smell the roses a bit now and do enjoy the little moments and the little bit of time that we do get, while still trying to get stuff done, because at the end of the day he also needs a bedroom.
Yeah.
And you know, we can't stuff it all, but it's a juggling act as always.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like that's a 25-minute conversation.
That was all because of the picnic bench.
Oh, it's a picnic bench. There you go. See, we talk. It has been a little while since the last video. We always try and get them out as regular as we can, but life gets in the way, you know. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, as always, we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Going to be...
Yeah.
But there's... So Alex having a go on the bucket. After more I think the camera's lost me.
You do pick some good places to stand, don't you? Yeah. Maybe you could stand this side? Ah, perfect. Thank you so much.
I have no idea. I don't know. Probably not interested. I think that's it. I think that's all you need to know. I think I'm boring. I think I'm talking even more than I should. And I think we should just get on with it. Thank you. Bye-bye.